Hey guys, so obligatory upload at late night times because how could I not? FaZe Clan has died. FaZe Clan has failed to make the upcoming major. It is set in stone after their elimination at the hands of Big, which Big has made their major after coming together as a newfound sort of roster earlier this year with Blame F helming things and Tabson still kicking around. Someone whom I've been obviously very critical of the fact that he's even still playing, but fuck me, they did it. What the hell do I know, right? But that's not why we're here. We're not here to sing the praises of Blame F, which we've done before in our old Fnatic video. We are here to deride or speak down about FaZe. And it is flatly a good thing that FaZe did not make this major. I have been on the Broky gotta Goki train for a very long time now, and between Jacob, between Broky, between some of the questionable calling and the removal of Neo as the coach of this team, FaZe failing to make this major and having to take a good hard look at themselves and the team is nothing but a good thing in my opinion. I think that Karrigan can IGL as long as he damn well wants to, and I think it would be a shame to see what I consider to be, who I consider to be the greatest IGL the game has ever seen, bow out after a showing like this, and I think that would be an absolute travesty. You know, you don't bury, as Thorin says, you don't bury legends before they're dead. And I know many people would bring up Apex and his current run of things and how he won a major with two different cores. And my answer to that will be that it's very similar to the Glaive angle of, high tier dominance over a long period of time. I think maybe, I think there's obviously an argument for Apex. I love Apex. I think he's an all time great player and obviously one of the top IGLs of all time. But the resilience that Karrigan has shown throughout his entire career, going from multiple different orgs, being benched or kicked from different orgs, and always managing to build himself back up, the versatility that he has shown with such a diverse portfolio of players makes him, he's one of one to me. You can't really compare Karrigan to anyone else in that he is like this IGL, but you can compare all other IGLs somewhat to, it's same way that Jame is a one of one IGL in my book. But Karrigan is an all-time great. I think it would be an absolute travesty to see him bow out right now, like this, and I really hope he does not. Further going down the line, Frozen has been playing absolutely lights out. I think he has been the best player on FaZe since he joined. He has been obviously to a couple major finals with them now due to their sort of fun flukes with him. But if he just re-signed his contract, right? Am I thinking wrong? But he needs a better team around him. I don't know. I can't remember. I'll probably make a little jump cut here, but Frozen needs a better team around him. I've wanted him to go to Na'Vi forever ago and replace Eam, and I think that still would be a fantastic move, but he seems stuck in FaZe for the time being, so they need to build around him. You have a quality IGL, you have a quality Star Rifler, and Twists seems to be capable of still playing at the highest tiers and standing lockstep. I understand that funding may somewhat be an issue with this FaZe roster, and maybe that's an overarching issue that's preventing them from getting a larger talent pool. But as other people have said, they were eliminated today at the hands of Grix, who went absolutely nuclear on them. And that is a offer that honestly should have been on their radar if they were properly looking for talent development, because Broky has been... They should have been looking to replace Broky for quite some time now. But I think whatever reasons, as we don't know, we are not in the team. We don't get to be privy to the finer details of why these decisions are or are not made. But, they need, moving on, I guess, Twists didn't get much of an in-depth, but Twists is playing still at a serviceable level. I think he is a rifler that you can still go quite far with, but Jacob and Broky. Jacob has his moments. I think Jacob is a lot like how we just had Oh goodness, the recent stint over of Zwei in Perryvision, how he was in Spirit. It looked rough. He had some standout moments, and he even had some standout games in very important times. But I still think he is a fit. I was very questionable of him being brought in to begin with to replace the individuals whom he replaced, and I think he will be a pretty solid player one day, but I don't think it's going to be in this team, and I don't think it's going to be right now. And unless FaZe is wishing to forego trophy contention and enter a true rebuild phase with, say, the retirement of Karrigan, I don't see a world where he gets to stick around. I also think the same thing for Broky. Broky is one of my all-time favorite players. I'm not a big skin guy, but my op is crafted and themed after Broky. Broky is one of the most electric players you will ever see in the history of Counterstrike, and it has been his time for some time now. I remember making a joke at Laundersland 2 at the beginning of 2025, talking to Launders himself about how I was we were just going through the top 10 HLTV players, and I think Broky got 9 that year. I'm doing all this off the top of my head, but I mostly joked to him. I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess that means Broky's top 10 this year," and he was kind of like, "Well, yeah, of course." But I questioned Broky's inclusion in the top 20 even in 2025 at times, and or 2024. So that was the 2024 top 10 being discussed in 2025. And to see him go through the season he had last year and still be around, and see him, be benched for Simple, be brought back for whatever reason, be it that they couldn't afford Simple, that Rain did not wish to play with him, which was somewhat of an implication based on interviews given after the fact. Whatever reason it may be, Broky showed flashes of who he used to be, but he has not shown the consistent level that is necessary to compete at the highest levels of Counter-Strike, and has been a liability at times. I think that, we're looking at a turning of the generations here for the Oppers and a lot of these players. There's a cracked young Opper out there who he's not going to be the next Monacy. He doesn't need to be the next Monacy or the next Molodoy. I said it in the Astralis video. Hell, Fuzi would have done a fine enough job. I mean, I think Fuzi should have gone to Liquid, but him and this Astralis core seem to be punching above the sum of their parts and are doing quite well for themselves. But there has been a plethora of talent developing out there in the Tier 1.5, Tier 2 scene that could have replaced Broky, and I believe it is his time to go. Does that mean I think Broky should retire? No. I think he needs a change of scenery. I think he needs an attitude adjustment. I think he needs to just have some fresh faces around him and have a fresh perspective, and maybe we'll see him again. It would be awesome to see him on a, maybe not a God. Wow, is he really struggling that hard that I'm saying I don't know if I want to see him on heroic? That's harsh. God, that's harsh. I don't know, like a heroic, a gamer legion, that like borderline team, but those teams are trying to strike at the highest level, and so what would signing Broky do unless you get the feeling you can get more out of him than what he was putting into FaZe in the past 2 years? So that makes it a difficult thing to even recommend. I flatly don't know. And for Jacob can go back to any team. I think he has shown that he's capable of competing at the tier 1 level with enough development. I think he could be great in another borderline team. But I don't think his time in FaZe is, like I said before, I think his time in FaZe is done. But this is a heartbreaking result for the most entertaining team in Counter-Strike, and it does feel wrong to bring up that epithet because that they have not been that for some time. They make us believe every once in a while, and they give us that faith, but, the bombing out at Pro League into getting grouped at Draculan is just such a shameful low for what is supposed to be one of the definitive teams in top tier Counter-Strike. And I get that this is the decline that they have been on for some time, but it is still heartbreaking to see. And I hope that we can see them return to us. I hope Karrigan doesn't retire yet. I think he can do it as long as he wants. But if he does retire and he's hanging up the mouse and he just doesn't have it in him anymore, he has given us more than enough. He has given us everything. And it would be very interesting to see who you could even get to replace him. But it's a difficult time in the FaZe Clan camp. Not going to be this video is not edited a ton. The outro won't be super edited. I mostly put a lot of work into the writing. But even then, it was mostly just the flow. But it's difficult times in the top tier of Counterstrike for some of our favorite players of all time. And I hope that we can see them come back stronger. I hope that they can rebuild. Liquid also barely scraping by due to various VRS related things. Shout out to Mischiefs. Shout out to Jasper, the VRS experts over on Twitter, for keeping us alive and keeping us all in the loop about who's going to make it and their projections and their various VRS related projects. I think that, a wider topic I'll discuss more at length is how I feel about VRS compared to the old RMR system. And just a boilerplate, I guess, simple gut reaction is that this result is far more damning, and therefore it more likely necessitates change versus just bombing out of an RMR. Bombing out of an RMR, it's one result. You can somewhat look past that. Consistently bombing out of tournaments to the point that you fall out of invite range for the VRS for the major, it is far more damning of a result. So it's an interesting turn of the season, a heartbreaking end to the race for the major, but what a race it has been. Hope everyone has a great day. And today was the day that FaZe died. And that's a good thing. I've been CJ. A long, long time ago, I can still remember how that team used to make me smile. And I knew if they had the chance, they would make the arena dance, and maybe we'd be happy for a while. But Blast Bounty made me shiver with each result they did not deliver. Bad news on HLTV. Don't they know this hurts me? I searched long for an answer when I heard Robs made his transfer. Management had become a cancer. Today, FaZe Clan died. So bye bye Karrigan, please don't cry. You are still the GOAT, IGL in my eyes. The arenas will cheer as the boys do try, singing today's the day FaZe will ride. But today was the day that FaZe died. Tear up the strap of scrub, the bar no longer stands above. You're gonna do what Neo tells you so. Do you believe in Robs and Rain? Does Broky's gameplay drive you insane? Cause now they lose teams like hey. Well, I know the team is in the bin. They played Draculand and they didn't win. They kicked Neo off the team. But is that really enough? I mean, offerings more skill than luck. Is Broky really still enough? But I knew they were out of luck.